Welcome back to another episode of Peep the Game, Finesse Accordingly. Once again, that's Peep the Game, Finesse Accordingly. I'm your host, the one and only, Def Finesse, a TDF Apex Predator. If you're new here, this channel is designed to encourage the young so-called black man to develop the mentality of a tiger.
Nigga, what?
Tiger? Tiger? Huh?
What? Obviously, not by literally pretending to be an actual full-grown tiger, leaping around and taking a chunk out of someone's ass, but rather by mastering your primary God-given gift, or as I call it, your TDF instinct, and also by finally reconnecting to your very own inner apex predator, aka your inner AP, that version of you inside of you that truly believes that you are destined for greatness
In this society, on this earth, in this day,
and is perpetually frustrated with the fake ass environments and situations you constantly find yourself in as a so-called black man. You know, all the different situations that make you say,
I cannot believe this shit.
very similar to the predicament of a tiger stuck in a zoo.
If you cannot understand what it's like to be a tiger in a zoo, I don't know how you ever gonna understand what it's like to be a nigger in America.
I believe that in order to break out of this metaphorical zoo that you're in and to successfully escape back into the jungle where you can live life on your own terms, you must first develop 3 important characteristics. 1, you must become tireless. 2, you must become deft. And 3, you must develop a great deal of finesse. In other words, you need to be on some TDF.
Shit.
So with that being said, the title of today's episode is You Must Decide What You Want Out of Life.
Now, let's get to work.
On some TDF shit.
It's to die for.
Turn that fucking music down.
Brothers, we must all decide exactly what we want out of this life, because nothing will be given to us.
You fucking right.
Very similar to the tiger in the jungle, he decides exactly what he's going to eat and then tirelessly pursues it. He is constantly deciding his own fate, especially when he gets hungry. He doesn't just sit around and wait for some sorry ass animal to climb into his mouth, because the reality is no animal is that dumb. Even a sick, elderly animal would be like,
hell no.
at the suggestion of doing such a thing. When you think about it, this is how we must be in life. Everything you are right now is based on your decisions. Whatever you have or don't have is the direct result of your decision making or lack thereof. A lot of times we have a tendency to not make decisions due to some sort of fear of making the wrong decision, or simply by getting caught up in overanalyzing what we perceive to be our many different options. But when you think about it, you would be better off making the wrong decision and realizing it like,
You know I've made a big mistake.
and making the necessary adjustments than to not make one at all and have to deal with the regret later on in life. A lot of people seem to have that reality in common today. You must learn to trust yourself as well as your inner AP. He is the version of you God created you to become when it's all said and done. You often get glimpses of him through visions or even your daydreams or regular thoughts throughout the course of a day. However, as of now, he only exists in your mind. But with hard work You can bring him into your reality by essentially becoming him. You also need to learn how to keep the other weaker characters that exist in your mind in check, because
they only here to cause confusion.
The unfortunate truth is that these characters are always going to try to gain control of you and lead you astray.
Constantly.
You must always be able to immediately recognize when one of them is trying to finesse you and lead you off your path. Whatever dream or vision you have on your mind, it's up to you to make the decision to move forward with a plan to make them a reality.
Start in your brain first, you know, got to exist up here first. As a man thinketh, so shall he get.
Do not get caught up in the thinking process, for that's all it is, thinking. A lot of times the weaker characters in your mind want to finesse you into believing that you are accomplishing things just by merely sitting around and thinking about them, or even by distracting yourself with never-ending planning. However, the reality is that things do not get done by merely thinking about them, or even planning to do them. The most important part of the process will always be action.
You're goddamn right.
Every innovation that you see is the result of someone's hard work, someone's decision to pursue their vision by tapping into their unique TDF instinct and grabbing a hold of their destiny.
Wow. Let's do that again.
You must make the decision to set the priorities in your life. Ask yourself, what is most important to you? What are the goals and visions you will surely regret not prioritizing and pursuing when it's all said and done and you get to be elderly? I often ask myself, what do I want to remember when it's all said and done and I'm an old man? Do I want to remember going after everything I wanted as a young man? Or do I want to remember being
A bitch.
when it came to pursuing my goals and dreams? This Western society has done everything it possibly can to neuter all men, especially
Niggas!
They desperately want us to think and behave like sheep by encouraging us to remain unsure of ourselves and unable to make up our minds on things. The philosophy that is pushed is to just keep following the herd. Then before we know it, life has passed us up and we're out of time, old and bitter with ourselves and the world. I'm sure we all know or have met individuals like this. Time is your most precious commodity. You cannot buy more of it. Therefore, you must respect it and treat it as your most precious currency. The best way to do this is to actively make the right decisions.
Bro, you gotta get your shit together.
But in order to make the right decisions, you need to know exactly who you are and what your assignment is in this world. You also need to figure out exactly what your TDF instinct is and how you're going to use it to help you complete your assignment in life. And anyone that gets in your way, you must be prepared to move them out of the way. Like,
You ain't gonna get on my way, you in my way, bro.
the Most High gave you your particular TDF instinct for a reason. Do not take it for granted. Every single day that you are allowed to live should be dedicated towards refining/mastering this God-given instinct of yours, so that when it's all said and done, you will look back at yourself and your life with pride on some TDF shit. If this video helped you out at all, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on your notifications. Fine now.
Right now!
I'm out.
Turn that fucking music down.